Welcome to Tush Twins, heard exclusively on MalcolmPresents.com, a streaming service producing new video shows for your delight. So tune us in each week, each day, each minute.
Right.
We need
Each
the hits.
second.
Each second.
Each millisecond.
Each millisecond.
Anyway,
Here we
it's
are.
Max and Paula, the bunny.
The bunny, Rusty,
Good
bunny
morning, or I
Rusty.
shouldn't say good morning, good day.
Good day.
Good day.
Good day, mate. Good day. Yes.
Good morning to you.
Okay, take us into the show, Max.
Good evening, wherever you are.
Good evening.
Good
I
evening.
am Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, here I am. So I'm going to do the intro, which I say, move over. Lucy and Ethel, and Laverne and Shirley, Schlemiel, Schlemazel.
Incorporated.
Betty and Wilma, Tina and Amy, because here come the Tush Twins with tales of friendship from Brooklyn and beyond. Maxine Faith, moi, Paula Rose, aka Rusty, aka the redhead, because everyone would go, "How's the redhead?" That's what they ask. My brothers would go, "How's the redhead?" We'll bring you through their 60 plus years of friendship with levity, drama, joy, yippee, and love, baby, love. All we need is love. From Brighton to all we need is love. From Brighton to Coney, New York City to the burbs. We're both in the boibs.
The boibs.
And out to the whole wide world. The whole world. We have been through we've been through it all, seriously.
Yeah, I think so.
And so we're gonna take you with us on our journey. You know, we've had different things go on. Because we know each other so well. Our atomic particles have been joined at the tush.
As I say, you finish each other's sentences.
Pretty much. So we hope you enjoy our tales. And that could be both a pun or not, because she was Bunny Rusty and she had a tail.
Ooh.
And she gave me a tail that said Bunny Max. I have it somewhere. So it's Mother's Month. It's Mother's week. It's Mother's Day coming up.
Actually, as I was saying, even as we broadcast, it's Mother's Day in El Salvador, which is during the week.
Wow.
So
very, very.
So for all my Salvadorian friends, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. And mothers, they come in many forms. They're not
many
just
shapes.
Not just, you don't have to give birth necessarily. Because your mom instincts kick in no matter what. Caregivers, aunts, great aunts, all godmommies. You're my son, you're E's godmom.
I'm E's godmommy.
And you have nieces and nephews, and you treat them incredibly. So everyone has the mother instincts. So it's not just the ones that go through the birth thing. But anyway, there was a poem. It was turned into a song in 1915, and it started out M. M is for the million things she gave me. Right, many things she gave me. Right. O means that
is for
she's growing old. T is for the tears she shed to save me. H is for her heart of purest gold. E is for her eyes with love, light shining. R means right, and right she'll always be. You damn know we're right. And Rusty. Put them all together. They spell mother.
Mudder.
Mudder. A word that means the world to me. So Mother's Day is near. So we're shouting out to moms. And all moms, they call it. I mean, we had Joy Rose, who founded the Museum of Motherhood on Many Shades of Green last week, and she says it's not just for motherhood, it's also for otherhood, because there's so many things involved and so many, ladies who do so much. So with that, we have incredible moms, all of us.
Yes, we do.
Uh, and they're up in the heavens now, but they're with
Yep.
us like every minute, every second. I mean, Ruthie's with me like all the freaking time. And I know
Yep.
Marsha's with you, and Marsha's with me.
All the time, even my
So-
grandmother's.
Right, and my grandma Sylvie and my mom Nettie.
Yes.
I can
I,
still
I
taste
never
her.
knew my grandma.
You didn't know your grandma?
No, I
Oh.
think my mother's mother died before I was born, and my father's mother died when I was about 2.
Oh. Well, I knew my grandmothers. I didn't really know my grandfathers. I was named after my grandpa Max,
Hmm.
who was my grandma Sylvie's. This is my mom's side, hubby. And my grandfather Murray, my dad's father, he kind of split on them. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And
I remember.
I met him one time when I was in California. He had this house in Palos Verdes that was the first time I ever saw a home on a cliff with an indoor outdoor pool. So you can swim inside and then go underneath this thing and go outside. Imagine it was
What did
incredible.
Murray do? He must have had money.
Well, it's a long, you would need 5 shows to explain Murray,
Oh,
but
there we go.
you know,
Give me here.
you know, the thing that goes down in the amusements that goes down in
The
and
claw.
Yeah,
grabs
like the
some,
claw.
that's him. There's
And
a
my
lot,
favorite
and
one is
there's
the
and a
toilet
lot of
paper
other,
roll.
right, the toilet paper roll, you know, that you put the thing in the middle because people didn't really have that. And a lot of other things. I actually have a copy of one of his patents, but but the thing he made money on is real estate. Think of that property in Palos Verdes today, Malcolm.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Anyway, so we
That's-
got off of moms into grandfathers, but anyway, so with moms, we have Mama Ruthie and Mama Marsha. And what's your
Mhm.
mom's
Mama
name?
Lee.
Mama Lee.
Mama
Okay.
Lee.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
Okay.
I don't think my mother ever really gave birth to me.
Oh no,
No, I think she still kept me because
she still
one time I
kept you?
remember meeting my
Okay.
my sister-in-law's friends and even my ex-girlfriend, and they and I introduced myself, Malcolm. They say, "Oh, I thought your first name was Mai." And what do you mean my first name was Mai?
My.
Yeah. Every time your mother mentioned you, she said, "My Malcolm,
Oy.
my Malcolm." So I thought your name was Mai.
It's
Aw,
almost like
that's
that's
so
cute.
cute.
So I'm
So
gonna
then
call you
in
Mai from now
retrospect, I don't
on.
think she ever let go.
That's well,
Oh
moms,
my.
I was
moms
Mai.
tend to do that, right? I mean, Ruthie and Marsha was like my second, she was my second mom.
And Ruthie was my second mom.
And every level you have other moms. That's what we're talking about. Others, not only mothers, but others. And she, Marsha was my second mom, and I lived with you guys for a year when I was in
Mhm.
college, and because my folks moved to Florida. But and my parents were happy that I was there and my second mom was watching me,
Yep.
so that was huge. But the both moms were incredible. She was just Ruthie, artistic, took no crap from anyone. She took no crap.
Mhm.
Seriously.
None.
One time this woman came in and put a curse on her in the store, and she turned around and she went, "A curse on you." I'll never forget it. I'll never forget. And the woman, she runs out and she goes, "A curse on you." My mother's, "I had the last word. You are cursed." And she went like this with her fingers. It was like,
That's my Ruthie.
that's Ruthie. And that was at the store. She was a woman business owner, which didn't
Mhm.
happen back in the
No.
60s and 70s. It wasn't such a thing. She wasn't overly neat, so we always went in there and cleared things
Cleaned it
up.
out. She go on
Not
vacation
right.
and she come back, everything is so nice and neat, and she get pissed because I
Right.
don't know where
I
anything
don't know,
is.
I don't know where anything is. What'd you do with it all? So and Dottie, was a woman who helped us in the store, and she was very
Mhm.
motherly to me too. She always kept an eye on us.
Mhm.
So again, it's mothers from another mother who, are very important to everyone as well. And
All right,
people have,
Maxine, explain about your mother, then I'll explain about mine. And
okay,
then Malcolm explain about yours.
okay,
Talk about your mom.
okay.
Tell wacky, wonderful
Well,
things about.
well, again, took no crap, you know,
Mhm.
decided to reverse the curse on
Mhm.
someone. And she painted murals on the walls of my house.
Yeah,
And
she
then
did.
like every 6 months we would go over it in white. And she'd paint it again. She would paint rocks. She would, you know,
Yes, I still have mine.
she would collect shells. She loved the beach. She would make palm trees, you know. She would have, you know, the South Seas on her wall because she loved the warm water in the Caribbean, Miami, and she loved the palm trees and the oceans. When I was growing up, we had to keep kosher in the house because my dad, that was a thing. But my mom, when my dad walked out, she put bacon on. And the smell of bacon doesn't really go away.
Mm-mm.
My dad would come back later. It was like when Ricky went to Lucy, he would go, Ruthie, what did you do? You know, it's like and she would like, nothing, I didn't do nothing. It was like and she just had this amazing look at life, and she just, you know, just took it by the horn. She was a Taurus, so yeah. And she obviously was a mom to rock group, to rock singers, to my house. The Tokens were in my house. People would
Mhm.
come to my house. I didn't know Neil Diamond dropped by. Neil Sedaka dropped by. Carole King would drop by. This is when I was a little kid. I had no idea who they really were
Who
at the
these people are.
time.
And then
Yep.
now if we
Right.
can get them on some of our shows
Yeah,
today.
yeah, if only.
Yeah.
Did you have Carol's number?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Phil did. Phil, you have Carol's number. Again, she had the clothes closet, the store
Mhm.
on Brighton First Road and across from the library, and she conducted business the way she conducted her house. But somehow everyone loved her. They would line up on Wednesdays for sample day, and I would drive
Mhm.
with her in the city sometimes. She'd say, "Yeah, you won't go to school today. You're gonna go with me." Now,
The
your mom
Irving
was a
place.
good driver, right?
Yes, my mom
Marcia,
was an excellent driver.
incredible. All
Yes.
right. My mom, not so much.
Not.
And she would get lost. If you put my Uncle Sonny and my mom in a car, they'd just go in a circle. They had no freaking clue where they were.
You mean you
So
didn't have a GPS system?
no GPS, and nothing would save them in terms of, I was always the map reader when we went on trips because there was, you know. And so of course, back to the Tokens, my mom was the biggest fan. She would make food in the house for everyone. My house was like 24/7 music, right? You'd come there and the
Right.
house, the
It's
roof would
always filled with people.
right. And my mom would make, you know, rugelach, latkes, fried chicken, Kool-Aid, cake
I just
frosting.
I just
And
remembered all that. Just my mouth is watering and the
right.
fun we used to have there.
You know, my grandma Sylvie also, she
Yeah,
was so
me. God rest Sylvia's soul. She saved her life more than once.
she did. She did. She saved our lives when we made
Oh, Grandma.
a series of prank phone calls that got us into trouble because the operator got wind of it and they were going to cut service off in our house. My grandma wasn't very happy about that. My mom is still the reigning queen of effing everything. There is
But
nothing.
I'm the
You know,
princess.
you're the princess. You're
I'm
the
the poif.
princess, but you're the poif. She's the coif, whatever.
Poif.
The coif, queen of effing everything. I wish I
Yeah,
can say the
coif.
word. I won't say the word because
Frickin'.
YouTube doesn't like it. But by and large, like everyone, she was an individual. There was just nothing. The mold was broke. She was born. There was a mold was broken, and she always took care of us. She always, you know, had good intentions with everything. And my father was the only one who could handle her. You know,
Yes.
because she was a bunch to handle, but she
And my
was,
mother.
you know, right. Your mom, you know, her friends kept an eye, Sonny
Hmm.
and Ray and the crew,
Ray
the
and
bright, they were all
Betty. And
friends. That crew of friends was amazing. You
yes,
know,
left to
it's
the lifeguard,
left
straight
from the
down the men's
lifeguard.
room on base 5.
Yeah, right. And then of course there's Mama Marcia, the bingo queen. You know, my mom was the
Yes,
queen of
my
effing.
mom.
So go
Hmm.
ahead.
My mom was in the Navy during
Right.
World War II. She learned to drive Jeeps and trucks. So my mom was an excellent driver.
She was a good driver. Except when she
Excellent.
lost the
But
car.
well, that wasn't her fault.
Sure.
No,
We
we'll
we
get to
lost the
that.
car. Go ahead.
We lost the car.
Mhm.
My mom was a lady. She was a beautiful, tall, stunning woman. People knew my mother on the street because my mom would
The way
walk.
she walked.
She
Right.
walked with the wiggle. She had the
Had
wiggle
this-
with her ass
She
moving
had
back
this
and forth.
swagger that
Yes,
no
she
one else
walked.
really had. She had a
Let me see if I
swagger.
could do it. Can you see me?
She had right. Exactly.
I
You
still
had
walk like that
you can walk like that. You do. You have a little bit of that Marsha
because I
swagger about
modeled.
you.
So I took my mom's
Right.
swagger.
Well,
Uh-huh.
My mom had swagger. She was very elegant. She always looked, she was the opposite of Ruthie.
Right.
So
The big
totally
thing
opposite.
was
Neat,
that you
clean.
were really Ruthie's daughter, and I was really, in
Yes.
ways, Marsha's daughter,
Yes.
in certain things, not
And
everything.
a lot of things.
But
Because
yeah,
I like the craziness and
Right,
the
you were the
fun in your
crazy.
house. But
Right.
then I loved coming home to my family was like the Beavers, the
Sims.
Cleavers, or our
Cleavers,
father
the
knew
Nelsons.
best.
right.
Your father was named Ozzy, right?
Yeah, Ozzy
Father-
And the
and
Nelsons.
I said the Nelsons.
yeah, not like them. They're crazy, but they were just like the TV show. I grew up in a family like that.
Like Donna
Every night
Reed.
we had dinner. Donna Reed. It was the perfect childhood. My father and mother would take us on road trips every weekend, and Maxine always went with us.
Mhm.
And we were the map readers, but we always had to pick a street, a road. So Maxine would pick go left, and we go, and I go straight, and my sister and whoever else with us, we always picked a road, and we always ended up
In the same
at a
place.
Friendly's for ice cream, no matter
Right,
where
exactly.
we were.
We were up near in I think northern Westchester, somewhere.
Yeah, it
not
was
far
in
from here, I don't
Newburgh.
think. Yeah, it
in
was
Newburgh.
somewhere. Yeah, it was
Always in
past.
Newburgh.
It was
We
somewhere. It
go
was
to your
past.
brother's house up there and where he
Well,
lived.
he was in Putnam. He was in
Putnam. Yes, we'd end up in
And,
Putnam
Mitch was
sometimes.
and Phil was in Suffern, in Rockland.
We used to knock on Mitch's door and Sherry's door that time and go,
Mhm.
"Hello, we're here.
Yeah, right. Hello.
Hello."
Put the cats away. So,
Yeah.
but
So I
yeah,
had a different childhood than Maxine. But it was the same childhood because we intermarried the families together.
right. We
So
were
when
all
I
kind of
I
one
was
big.
always at Maxine's house, but Maxine was at my house. We were never separated, really. That's why we're the Tush twins.
Just
Right. I need, my house was 24/7 crazy. I mean, because
And my house was very
so I needed
sane.
to be at her house because it was so insane at my house because of all the activity and all the constant music and rehearsing and
well, because of Phil and Mitch.
right. They would rehearse the tokens, they would rehearse the happenings, they would rehearse the ship-ons. They would stay over my house even.
I remember
Um,
when the Canaries came to your house.
Right, they're from the Canary Islands.
Canary
and
Islands. I
they had a
remember when
hit-
they came
They
to the
had a hit
house.
record in the Canary Islands, and I think in England. And
They
I
had one
remember
here
the
too. I
right,
forgot
it
to
was
have
called
the album.
"Baby, Don't Surprise Me."
Surprise me.
Instead of "surprise me," don't surprise me.
They were
Yeah,
so
the
cute too.
one was, but the long hair. They were cute.
They were cute.
They were cute.
They were cute. When you said you called me up and said, "Come over, the Canaries are here."
They're
Zoom,
cute.
zoom, 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 zoom.
They're
But
cute.
you were
I
too
don't know.
young.
Well, we were
Oh, we
young,
were
yeah, but we still knew they
young.
were cute because we still, that was the
We
Beatles
were in
also.
our early teens. We're
The
in junior
Beatles
high
were,
when they,
the Beatles were cute. Probably like 6th, 7th grade, something like that.
yeah, 7th grade when they came over.
I don't remember. I have to look at
Canaries.
the 60. It was like
I
68.
think it was
something like that.
67, 68, whatever.
Yeah, that was
But our families intermixed. Like my mother, we always went to the World's Fair every Tuesday and Thursdays.
every chance we got.
Yeah, my mom worked for this gentleman named Perlmutter. What's his first name?
Yeah. Bryce
Joel Perlmutter's father.
Joel's the kid, and yeah.
I
well, it
know
was
the father. I
Perlmutters,
forgot the
It
father's name.
was Mr. Perlmutter.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, we knew him. We never said Mr. and Mrs. in our friends and
In our
families. It's
group?
always the first name.
It was always, but it was
Yeah,
always
our group
referred
was
to as the names of the families, the Stones, the Pulevskis, the Dorfs,
The Noaks, the
the Noaks, the
Margos.
Margos. Yeah, it was,
So we would go, my mom worked for him 3 days a week. So she made friends with the police officers at the World's Fair, and they would bring us in as lost children. And we would go through the gate, and my mother and Ruthie would go, I found them, I found them. They let them in, and we just
I don't
continue
remember
on to
that
the.
somehow.
Oh, I
Went in as
do.
lost children. I
Yes,
know we're
we always
lost,
got it.
but I
We
didn't
got
know.
in
I
free
didn't
every single time, and we
got in
went
free.
to,
Oh God.
yeah, yes, we went into free all the time. Because my mother and my brother worked at the Christian Catholic Pavilion.
Okay. Is that the one with the Pietà with they had the statue of Jesus? It
Hmm.
was that was a
They
very
love
big
my
thing there.
brother. They love my brother, so they would give us passes from him. He worked during when he was in school, after school to extra credit or something. So we always got to World's Fair. One day my mom took Rufus J. Galaxy.
Rufus J. Galaxy. Yep,
We took the
that's
car with my sister, Maxine, Ruthie, and my mom. Now we're trying to get everything together out of the car, and we forgot to look where we're parked.
yep.
Now this is at 10 o'clock, the World's Fair closes. We're trying to find the parking lot is filled still. People are leaving.
Filled.
We
It
can't,
was beyond filled. We can't find the
we
car.
couldn't find our car. We
Yep.
walked around, Maxine and I and my sister yelling out,
Rufus, Rufus, Rufus J.
we finally
Galaxy.
found
Where
it
are
2 hours later. This was in the Shea Stadium parking lot.
Right. This is because the cars all were cleared out by then.
And we finally found it.
It's like sometimes you watch a show and a kid gets lost in a stadium in a comedy and then the kid finally finds the parent because there's only 4 cars left and one of them has to be theirs. So that's how we got the car. It was
We
scary.
got the car.
It was like I
It
thought,
was
how are we gonna get? First, it was fun, but then after a while, to
after
me, it
2 hours. It was
after
done.
2
No, it
hours,
wasn't fun.
it wasn't
My
fun.
mother, when your
Yeah.
mother's
Yeah. Oh God.
going,
It was.
anyone wants any drink or eat?
Right. Because at that point, we're getting hungry again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, your mom had she was the stuffed cabbage queen and
Yes, my
the
mom was an
spaghetti
elegant cook.
meatball.
She made,
You know,
we were healthy before healthy was
we
because
all
we only grilled and broiled. We never fried. Even our fried chicken was baked,
right
except 3 or 4 times a year, we'd have fried flounder or French fries or blue potato fries, which
blue
is really,
potatoes, which we still
which are yams.
Abby. Oh my God, Abby's on my
Ivy,
mind.
oy vey,
Ivy
Ivy. She couldn't
is the
say the
culprit.
word yams or orange. So everything to her was blue. So every time we had yams, she'd go blue potatoes.
Right, blue
So to this
potatoes.
day, we
We
call them
call
blue
them blue
potato.
potato. Right, me too. Call blue
I
potatoes.
put a list for Dennis to go shopping. I put down blue potatoes and he knows.
I made blue potatoes last night. So
Mm.
and
So
also,
my mom was a very elegant
but also
type
funny.
of
She had a good sense
funny.
of humor, and
My
so did
mom was,
Ruthie. Both of
yes, the
them.
two of them got along very well. They
And they
loved
had
each other.
right, and your mom, she liked bingo and cards and mahjong. And I remember we would always see her at the baths at the card table or the mahjong table or whatever. And she loved, Atlantic City and Vegas and all those
Mhm.
places because she
Yes, may she
really,
rest in peace. She's in
yeah,
the casino in the sky.
right. And my mom is probably somewhere still on a tropical island,
Your mom's in
you know,
Fiji.
probably in Fiji. And
My mother probably still in Sheepshead Bay. She never traveled.
Oh,
no,
really? So
That,
talk
that,
about
that-
your
so
mom.
give us a
I
little
think that
about your mom.
I think the farthest she ever got from she was born, I think, on the Lower East Side,
Hmm.
and then she moved to Brooklyn. And I think the farthest she ever traveled in her life was to the Catskill Mountains.
Wow.
We all did.
We used to
Right.
go. We used to go once a year in the summertime. I think
Mhm.
for a week.
Well, my parents did go to Europe and they
Yeah,
did go to
Yes.
Hawaii and
yeah,
they
that's the
did go to
farthest
Puerto
she's ever been
Rico
away, and
and
then
Israel. So
no,
they traveled a bit more.
she never flew on a plane.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
And she was nervous when I drove the car. The first time I drove a car, the day I got my license, I had my
Mhm.
brother's car, so I went to meet her in downtown New York. She worked on Nassau
Ah,
Street.
I know
Nassau Street.
Nassau Street.
That's right. That's downtown.
And
That's
it was very
Wall
small
Street area.
streets. It was right near
Mhm.
Wall Street, and
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It's tough to drive around there even
yeah,
now.
and we had to go over the Brooklyn Bridge.
Hmm.
And before we reached the bridge, she stopped the car, said, "I can't take this." She took the train home.
No.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
She
my
left you in the
God.
car?
he
Were
left me.
you with
I had a
someone
friend
that-
with me, so I wasn't
Oh.
alone. But I wasn't frightened. You know, when you're 18 years old, what the hell?
No one cared. You don't care.
It's funny.
Yeah, I know. I remember driving the first time I ever drove over the Brooklyn Bridge. I was like into the city. It was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Well, you
And-
took driving lessons early. I
well,
couldn't
I got
afford.
I took it through school,
Well,
through
I couldn't
Lincoln,
afford that.
and then my dad would take me to Manhattan Beach area to drive
Mhm.
because it was not as crowded, and you can do all the U turns and the S turns and and
A turns.
B turns,
Yeah,
C
I think I
turns.
learned in a parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, no,
I
I
didn't get
was
my license till I was 31.
well. Les actually took you out. So
Les taught me basically how to
you know,
drive.
right.
Yes.
He
If it
was
wasn't for
the
Les and your
you know,
Toyota
Camry
Camry, the
with
original
Camry. Yep.
Which is probably
Camry.
still alive now. The Camrys are Toyotas are well-made cars.
Yes, they are.
So
But yours died finally
we gave
after
it up.
200 million miles.
Yeah, all our cars do a lot of miles for us. I mean, our Lexus was 200,000, and
But anyway,
Oh.
my mom was your basic mother. She, my father, actually, she was very strong. My father passed away when he was like 56. So she was
now
like in the
you
mid
too,
40s.
right, Paul?
Excuse me?
53.
53, right?
He died of cancer. And so she was probably like about, in the early 40s, never remarried.
Yeah.
And she went to work to support me through college. I mean, I lived at home I went to CCNY, but
Mhm.
she didn't require to pay anything. She got a job and she paid the rent and got the food. And the only thing I had to do was, buy books, and I had to take a train and buy my outfit. So I would work part-time, but she
Right.
never
Yeah.
asked me for any money. And she lived, she lived as a widow for 40 years. She didn't die until her mid-80s. And she never complained. She
Yeah.
used to love the bingo, but mahjong.
Marjan, that was a thing.
Mahjong, my mom had the Mahjong tan back.
Yeah.
The rest of front of her was all white, but she's always like
Right,
bent
right.
down
In
playing
the
Mahjong,
baths,
and
in
her
the Brighton
shoulders
Beach
and back.
baths, you
Yeah.
saw.
Yep.
Oh, you would go past a certain area, and all the women were at
Mm.
tables, and all you heard were clicks
Clicks.
from the
Clicks.
tiles, and you would hear one crack, two bam, blah blah blah. It was like
Soap.
crazy.
And her social activity was taking the beach chair and sitting in front of the building with the,
Oh, right.
especially
Well, a
like in
lot
the
of people
summertime.
in Brighton, right? They all,
In the summertime.
they're all in front of the building.
In
Everyone.
front of the building. My mom's never did that. She never
know.
did that, but we used to go in front. Everyone was sitting in front of all the apartment buildings
Well,
with their chairs.
you were mostly in the house for the most of the time, right?
Well, we lived in
Brighton
apartment houses. We never had our own home.
Were you a Brighton second place? What was your?
I lived in Brighton second place only for 2 years. No, I would live there from
No,
first
no,
grade
no. You were there longer
till
than that.
fifth grade.
Yeah, you were there
4
First
years.
to
longer.
fifth,
Yeah.
because I moved on Brighton 7th Street when I was in fifth grade.
Yeah, you were in the house there for a little, a few years.
Yeah, about 4 years.
Yeah, and I was in the house on Ocean Parkway till I was 18, till my parents moved, and then I stayed
I
with
just
you.
remember the other house,
27.
27.
That was one of my favorite houses. It had a cherry tree, and the other side
Mhm.
had an apple tree. And my mom loved planting anything. That was the other thing. She would plant anything. She would just stick it in the ground. It would grow.
Not my mother.
No, that was the opposite right there. And so she had plants. She grew, like herbs before it was a thing.
Yeah.
So we'd have like fresh herbs and stuff. And she just loved art. She was an incredible, wonderful artist.
She was a
Mitch
phenomenal artist.
took after her. I mean, I drew, but nothing close to them. And So,
And,
but
and,
Like a
and, and
drawer
anyway,
circle.
guys, I think we have to bring our Mother's Day theme to an end.
ooh,
Well, happy Mother's Day to all that's watching,
well,
and
all
happy Godmother, happy
happy,
mother.
right, everyone who's got that, takes care of someone else, everyone who knows that it's important to, give of yourself
Mhm.
to other people and to help
Yeah,
out. So it's, that's why you could put all of that together, and it spells mother.
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 Anyway, thank you guys.
All right, thanks for joining us for Tush
Thank you.
Twins.
And you have a good Mother's Day, for
Yes,
yourself with,
everybody have a
Everyone
good
have a good
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.
Yep,
and
and
you're
say
listening to Tush Twins on malcolmpresents.com. And you can go malcolmpresents.com and see all the back shows. So you know the entire history between Max and Paula. And I
That's
wish
right.
you a good day. Bye.
All right. Ciao.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Maine.
Ciao. May the force be
Maine.
with you.
May the Schwartz